Great, thank you. We are back after a short break, longer than we had anticipated, but there you have it. So what we're looking at, we did some changing around of issues today because the one that we were going to look at, 572, the people that had gone out to kind of come to some decisions about it were not ready. So I thought these two bills are pretty much ready. So we're going to first look at 465, H465, which is an act relating to boards and commissions. And I know that Lauren worked with the administration, and Ameren is here to walk us through these. There's two amendments, right?
Are we on 661?
No, we're on 465. Okay, so would you like to?
Yes, for the record, Ameren Abergilly Legislative Council. So on the committee's page today, you have H465 as passed by the House, as well as a proposed amendment draft number 1.2. In draft number 1.2, there are two instances of amendments. The first is in section 8 of the as passed by House version of the bill, specifically in subdivision E1. Section E, if you recall, is about the process for the approval of per diems, and subdivision 1 has the process for the governor submitting to the General Assembly the annual budget, which will include information on per diem compensation rates and a proposal for per diem compensation rates for the next fiscal year. Following up on some testimony last week, I believe, from the Office of Professional Regulation, there was a request that there be some additional language that allows or that acknowledges the fact that there are some per diems that are funded from funds outside of the general fund. So the language that you see in here is prior to submitting this schedule, which is the schedule of per diems, the governor shall consult with each elective officer or state officer who administers per diems that are not funded by the general fund.
And Lauren, that's the language
that is, and I really appreciate both the committee's ability to pick this up and Ameren's ability to draft this amendment. And I appreciate you guys hearing my concern, and this amendment resolves that concern. Again, in the future, I'm not sure that it would be a problem with this administration, but obviously the statutes continue far beyond the current people in the seats. So I appreciate this being codified in the statute.
Thank you.
I'm a little confused by it. Maybe it's because I'm just late and I'm tired, but it says that he'll talk to people who administer per diems that are not funded by the general fund. So, for instance, with the youth council, that's not the general fund, that's going into the health department's budget. Is that what we're talking about?
No, that would be more professional. The OPRs, boards and commissions, their advisory boards.
Remember,
they don't come out of the general fund. They come out of the
Secretary of State's fees.
Yeah.
So the youth council does come out of the general fund. That is part of the Department of Health budget. That's all general fund. But Secretary of State boards aren't.
Is there anyone else that is like that?
I don't know, but if there is, this would cover them.
Yeah.
But somebody might ask that.
Well, I bet
I'm anticipating.
The AG's office may have some. The
auditor, maybe
treasurer,
some.
the
Okay.
treasurer has had a bunch of different ones.
It's ones that it's the independently elected offices that don't get their
Why does he want to consult with them?
No, the bill originally said that the governor will propose the fee schedule. And this is saying that prior to doing that, he needs to talk to anybody who he doesn't have control over.
Why?
Because
I feel like I'm being really dense about this.
Because you don't want the governor to say, we're going to set this fee schedule for the per diems for the dental board at $250 a day, and she doesn't know anything about that. So
we're concerned about the level of per diems, not so much the overall budget.
Well, or the overall budget. It's going to affect her budget if she has to pay $250 a day for per diems.
Okay,
So consult, the governor shall consult with
Yeah.
each elected officer.
Those are officers of the state, like,
No, I understand that. I'm just saying consult could mean that you and I are just having a discussion and you've consulted with me and
Yes.
completely ignored me.
It could, but I think
Okay.
that this is the language that was agreed on
All
by
right.
both the administration and OPR. So I
Okay,
would suggest we not tinker with it.
all right.
I'm not opposed to tinker with that, I just want to understand it.
do you understand it now?
Kind of.
She doesn't want the governor setting her per diems that will affect her budget.
Right. So are these per diems will be taken into consideration in developing the budget though?
Developing whose budget?
Her budget?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
she can set her own per diems, yeah, and she'll
Right.
use that to develop her budget,
Okay,
I would assume.
I think I got it.
But we wanted to change it from the $50 a day, but we didn't want to tell people that it should be 75 or 250 because not all boards and commissions are created equal.
Sure.
So all per diems shouldn't be created equal.
Sure.
I emailed Shirley Jefferson, speaking of boards and commissions.
Lauren, did you have a comment?
I did, and I forgot to put my name on the record earlier, Lauren Hibbert, Director of the Office of Professional Regulation. I just wanted to say that the goal of the bill, from my understanding, and I think it's a good goal, is to do exactly what you said, to set per diems that are reasonable for the specific board or commission's function. We do support per diems being raised within OPR's umbrella cautiously and with consultation. And it says with consultation in the draft language because I do believe that it is the governor's role and responsibility to set per diems, even for boards and commissions that are overseen by separately elected officials. So the way the statutory construction is now, that is a governor function. I don't want to disrupt the governor's functions, but I do want him or her to consult with the separately elected official to make sure that raising the per diems will not disrupt the budget. And I think it's most important in the beginning of the implementation of this bill, because that's when it can happen without legislative oversight and without the governor's team coming into appropriations to go over per diems, and then the elected officials to come in and say, please don't allow this. But there's government oversight over the governor's actions through the budgetary process in this bill as well. So long-term consult works because if there's the consultation and it's not heard, then there will be a discussion in front of a legislative committee.
I didn't realize it was
The
up to the
budgetary
governor.
process.
I didn't either.
I didn't realize it was up to the governor to set per diems. I just thought that was something the legislature did.
No, oh, no.
I had no idea.
Well, we set right now per diems at $50 a day. And we wanted to change that, but on the boards and commissions committee, there was no agreement on how we should change it. And some boards are, if you look at the pension task force, for example, that the people that weren't legislators that were on there did a ton of homework. They worked their buns off all summer long. Should they have gotten more than $50 a day for those days they were there? And then you have some,
I'd amortize that $2 billion for them.
and then
The savings.
And then you have some boards that get together once every 4 years or 4 times a year and just say, okay, that'll be okay. So this just says that the department itself, who knows their boards and commissions, will set the per diems in the governor's budget.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so second amendment.
Yes, so second instance of amendment, you may recall H465, the first 7 sections, I believe, are all about, yes, the first 7 sections are all about the repeal of various boards and commissions. And then the section A is about per diem compensation. So backing up to a conversation about of boards and commissions, this second instance of amendment would add a new section 7A regarding the Emergency Service Provider Wellness Commission. There is a fair amount of text in here, but that is pretty much just for context. So subsection B outlines what the Emergency Service Provider Wellness Commission is and its duties. And then you'll see subsection C, beginning at the bottom of page 3, talks about who comprises the commission. And you'll see that there is the addition of a member of the Professional Ski Patrol Association. So the only change for this commission would be the addition of that member of the member position of the commission.
And they asked to be included in that because they were never included in that. This is the one that Beth Novotny worked really hard on to try and get it done. She called it the Jim Baker commission, but because he was the one that kind of spearheaded it.
So the reader assistance doesn't include A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. It starts with W on the last page.
Oh, so you'll see the asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. That's because I didn't include all of the huge list of.
Right, that's what I was asking. So
Yeah.
from A through, what's before W? V?
X,
V.
Y, and Z.
E.
V.
B.
Yeah,
So A through V remain.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I'm trying to keep it short.
and we're not, yeah, there are a lot. And we're not changing the board at all. We're not changing anything about the commission. We're not doing anything. We're just adding a member.
Oh, the ski patrol. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's a big role.
So you said to Steve, we got 2, but how are we gonna handle the other vote? We may be able to just wait till tomorrow to vote?
What's the other bill?
Well, let's just,
Oh,
I think we can just vote.
Okay,
401.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, I'd like to get them done.
okay, so this is the boards and commission is 465. Are we ready for a motion?
Yes,
I would move that we amend for H 465 with draft 1.2. And as the former clerk of the committee,
Okay,
I call the roll.
okay.
Clarkson, get your body in here. Yes. Collmore,
yes.
Polina,
Yes.
Hinsdale is
Here.
She is here.
Oh, there she is. Oh, good woman.
All right.
Yes. I was just getting into,
Look at you.
Yes.
Rob Hinsdale, great.
Thank you.
Right, okay.
We're going to have one more also.
We have one more on the bill itself.
great, okay.
Okay, so I would now move that we pass out favorably H 465 as amended. Clarkson, yes. Collmore,
Yes.
Polina,
Yes.
Ron Hinsdale,
Yes.
and White.
Yes,
Great.
okay.
Boards and commissions, that's you two.
Oh, that's, do you want to report this?
Sure.
Okay,
If you can provide me by, what's today, Wednesday, Friday, a section by section, that would be great.
okay.
It shouldn't be too hard for most of
And
it.
Gail, if you have a record
This
of
is
action,
going
I'm happy to
to-
sign it.
Oh, will it go
This
to?
will must go to appropriations
Oh.
first, right?
Yes.
Because of the per diems.
Yes, it will go to.
That one per diem is gonna go, make it go to appropriations.
Well, because it doesn't set anything in per diems.
But there was a fiscal note on the House side.
Yes, and there's didn't we have a copy of it somewhere?
I don't know how they can do a fiscal note, because they have no idea what the per diems are gonna be set at, but,
But we do say $50, not less than 50.
yeah.
Which
Okay,
is-
well, it'll go to.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, but whatever,
So I might not need it till Tuesday,
okay,
but Friday at the worst case scenario.
Right.
okay. And Keisha, we also have an amendment to H 661.
Okay, I just can't be on video anymore, but I can unmute myself.
Okay,
This was, that's okay.
so,
So we added,
this was already in the bill.
you and Lauren added the language from 703. This is the one we're adding the language from 703, right?
No, the report requirement from 703 is being removed from 703.
So we're not adding it here because it's the same report.
Yeah, but there were different dates. We had to change
know.
something that Lauren wanted us to change the dates for the report, right?
She wanted us to
Yes,
accept this.
On it. So we just got rid of, had put anything to make 703 slimmer is good.
And I thought that the position was in the original bill.
It was,
Or
So-
hands up. So
Lauren,
Yes. For the record, Lauren Hibbert, Director of the Office of Professional Regulation. I was asking that the report in H703 be struck, that the report in H661 be maintained with the date as drafted. And the position was in the original draft of the bill for H661, but then it was removed right before crossover. And I strongly request that it be added back, and I
Yes.
appreciate you considering the amendment.
okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, I remember that now. Okay,
So
can we vote on that? The only thing we're voting on is adding the position.
right, but we don't have,
We have it right here. It was handed out to us.
gosh, I don't know how I'm missing all the amendments. I got one amendment.
I don't have any.
I don't
An
have that.
amendment to which now?
661.
661.
Okay,
I don't have
hold
that.
on, just give us a sec, maybe it's here.
Did everybody get these copies?
Yes,
661?
it's,
It
yeah,
should be,
on your
it was
desk.
laying right underneath the copy for 465.
They came at different times though, so it's.
Oh, you're right.
It's just one little page.
You found it.
Here, you can have mine.
Well, tell me what it says.
Yeah.
It says we're adding the position to the,
To Warren's, to OPR,
to OPR to oversee the mental health professionals.
Right.
right, and we're happily removing it from,
No, we're not removing anything from here, Allison.
I am removing it from.
Well, but
page
that's
7.
a different
I
topic.
got it. Yeah, don't want to confuse it.
Can I ask a question of Lauren?
Yeah,
Okay. So the original sponsor of the bill asked me about a reduction of the number of credits. Is that in this bill or was that in another bill that Health and Welfare had? I just wasn't sure when the continuing ed credit got reduced. Is that, is there still a continuing ed credit in here?
you keep fading out, but I think, Lauren, I don't think there was a reduction in this bill of hours. Was
So
there?
the original draft of the bill had 3 hours of continuing education based on, I forget the original language, it's shifted a little bit, but on bias in the counseling professions, for lack of the specific terms. And it passed out of HGO with 3 hours. But it was, House Health did an amendment, I believe with the majority of the members, saying that it needed to be at least 1. And that was after testimony from myself and Susanna Davis, who's also here. And I think the primary reason why it was reduced to at least 1 as opposed to a mandatory 3 is we are waiting for the work of the Health Equity Commission to be complete, which we do anticipate will have recommendations on this topic specifically, and that may be more than 3 hours or less than 3 hours, but we wanted to maintain the concept in the bill and have it be at least 1 hour.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Keisha?
Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Allison, are you gonna call the roll here?
Yeah, except
All it's doing is adding a
Oh,
position.
yeah, no, I'm, okay,
Senator White. I'm very sorry.
Go ahead.
go for it.
Oh,
We had a discussion earlier, it's included within this draft number 1.2, which would be to add a representative of Vermont Care Partners.
Oh,
That's what I thought we were
Sorry,
talking about.
I'm sorry, I forgot. That is my fault entirely. Julie Tesler called and asked if we would add a member from the to the working group or the study group or whatever that is from the Vermont Care Partners. Thank you, Ameren.
And also I wanted to mention the change in the effective dates based on conversation at the last committee hearing on this bill, which was that for the continuing education units, pushing out the effective date of those requirements to July 1st, 2023, again, to receive the recommendations from the Health Equity Advisory Commission. So you'll see the addition of the OPR position in the first instance of amendment, as well as that change in the effective dates.
Okay.
And then the second instance of amendment on the second page has the addition of a representative of Vermont Care Partners to the mental health professional licensure study stakeholder group.
Yes, you are right, and I apologize.
Oh, here we are. Okay. And a representative from Vermont Care Partners. Okay, so I would move that we adopt draft 1.2 of H 661. Which I have, but I'm just gonna look it up. Clarkson, yes. Collmore.
Yes.
Senator Collmore. Senator Polina.
Yes.
Senator Ron Hinsdale.
Do we hear a yes?
Keisha?
Yes. Did you hear me?
That was a yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Senator White.
Yes.
Great, and then I would move that we pass out favorably H 661 as amended. Clarkson, yes. Senator Collmore.
Yes.
Senator Polina.
Yes.
Senator Ron Hinsdale.
Yes. Did you
Great,
hear that?
and Senator White.
Yes.
Okay, great, motion carries
Okay.
5-0, and we have passed H 661
Thank you,
Yes,
Tanya.
Absolutely.
as amended.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Is that what she?
Well, she's just watching the bill.
Okay.
Because she was the sponsor of it and she's a social worker, so has a personal interest in this bill.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. I'm impressed she knew that we were actually taking it up at that very moment.
You know, it's probably Gail sent her a note.
I sent her an invitation, but she,
Okay,
Good.
She came and went.
because she's right around the corner. Okay,
so who's reporting that?
I can, if, I'm not a social worker, but I can.
You happen to have a film synchronous.
Synchronous. Synchronous.
Synchronous.
I'll just make up another word. Okay,
You're
I can.
close to being a social worker. You're the chair of a committee. You shepherd us.
No.
You deal with all our issues.
All right, so the last thing we're going to do, thank you, Lauren, for being there. Thank you, Susanna, for being there in case we had any questions. Thank you. I think that what we're gonna do is look at the House has voted out the ethics
Oh, yeah.
bill, and they made a few changes, and if we can take a few minutes and have Ameren walk us through those changes so that when it comes to us, we can just either concur or decide not to. So we'll be ready for it.
Yes,
In
Ron.
case Steve comes, oh, look at this, she's already way ahead.
Now, can you use the
Thank you.
one that you have on your desk as the clean copy?
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I didn't put copy on it.
61.
Okay,
And then
It's clean.
you have,
I don't have it, I give my amendment to Ameren.
okay, I'll turn it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have one either. So.
That's very odd.
I know, I can't find it anywhere, but there we are. We've done it, and that's all good.
Okay,
And 661.
Brian,
Yes,
can you unplug my
certainly.
laptop there and then I'll look at that so we don't have to print anything out.
Yeah, I'm just
Let's see
looking
how
at
I
far
mean
up.
laptop, I meant.
We know what you meant.
Well, you went from 33% to 90.
Oh, okay,
You
thank
got
you.
plenty of juice now.
Yeah, it's funny, Gail. I think my place just eats bills
Maybe
because.
they all get stuck together.
Oh, I don't, and Brian's.
Or maybe I just always skip you.
Yeah, it's just.
I think you do it on purpose.
That's it.
Yeah, I just do it to frustrate.
Yeah.
No, I just found it.
Okay,
Stop.
61.
Yeah.
Do you want to give it to Jeanette to, oh,
Yes, I'm gonna give it to Jeanette right now.
What's the yellow sticky?
There is a white sticky right here.
so I did put the yellow sticky on that.
Yeah, but he won't know what 500 means. I don't think. I have to separate them, the amendment and then the bill.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Do you need another sticky then? Is there a way?
She needs a sticky.
Oh, okay.
okay. All right, Cameron, do you want to walk us through this?
All right, so S 171, an act relating to adoption of a state code of ethics. There are 3 instances of amendments that were just voted out of the House. The first is concerning section 1205, which if you have your as passed by Senate version, that is the mandatory ethics education and training section. So there are 2 changes. Substantively, there are 2 changes within this section. The instance of amendment replaces the entire section, but the changes are the addition of the words state code of ethics before training or references to ethics training, so that it's clear that the training is specific to the state code of ethics, not ethics training generally. And then the second change in here is the as passed by Senate version has the Vermont judiciary as an ethics training provider. And the House amendment has the Vermont Supreme Court and the Court Administrator's Office for the Vermont judiciary. So a specification of the entities within the judiciary that would be providing the training. So that's the first instance of amendment. The second instance of amendment amends Title III, Section 1226, which is the State Ethics Commission's annual report requirement section. And the change here is presently, the Ethics Commission reports to the General Assembly on complaints and guidance, and then including any recommendations that the Ethics Commission has for legislative action to address governmental ethics or provisions of campaign finance law. So the proposed instance of amendment would change that guidance section so that it says guidance and training. So there would be a new subdivision B that says that the Ethics Commission has to report an estimate of the number of code of ethics trainings conducted by each branch of government, a summary of the training activities undertaken by the Ethics Commission, and a summary of any recommendations the Commission or the Executive Director made to any branch of government regarding additional training or more in-depth training for particular provisions of the Code of Ethics.
Longer.
Yes.
I hope it says it.
The third instance of amendment would change one of the subdivisions in section 1203G. 1203G is the gifts section. So this is concerning specifically admission fees and tickets. So presently, subdivision says a public servant may accept tickets or admission to a charitable, cultural, political, or civic event at which a public servant participates in the public servant's official capacity, provided such tickets or admission is provided by the primary sponsoring entity. And so the change that is being proposed by the House is that a public servant may accept free attendance to a widely attended charitable, cultural, political, or civic event at which a public servant participates in the public servant's official capacity, provided such tickets or admission is provided by the primary sponsoring entity. Free attendance may include all or part of the cost of admission, transportation to and from the event, and food, refreshments, entertainment, and instructional materials provided to all event attendees.
God forbid we just go and sit at the table and not eat or drink.
Well, no, it allowed you to take the food and drink.
Yes, exactly.
Remember years ago, we passed something that resulted in like people going to conferences and
Yeah,
the buffet was there, and there was a sign that said, if you're from Vermont, you can't have
it
this.
was for
Yeah.
doctors.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It was for doctors. And
I never heard that. There was a sign
Oh,
that
yeah.
Yes.
doctors can't have.
because we passed a thing that said that,
They couldn't take
Oh, they could
yes.
pay for it. They could just pay, yeah.
Yeah, they could, I guess.
no, and they couldn't like,
You couldn't take money from like drug companies or.
the
Oh, I
drug,
remember we passed that when Harry Chen was still here.
the drug company representatives couldn't come, and the only time they could meet with the doctor's office, this drove Claire crazy. The only time they could meet with the doctor's office was at noon, and they couldn't bring them bologna sandwiches. I mean, really? They're gonna, anyway, that's beside the point. Are we okay with this?
Yes,
Sure.
so far,
I mean,
so good.
it's-
I
They make-
guess, I don't know why it has to say widely attended.
I don't either,
Why
but
can't
I'm,
it just say attendance at an event?
well,
Because I think they're trying to make it, that it's a bigger rather than
Okay,
a smaller
fine.
oriented
yeah,
thing.
I think I did that right, but you can
and
tell
I
me.
think I did mine right too.
We have an amendment on the.
You have an
And I have an
amendment on both.
amendment on that one too. It's clicked to it, it's on the back.
Up to it. You're gonna
Thank
come
you,
down and
Steve.
spank me and let
Is
me
there any
know.
more birthday cake?
There's a small piece, yes.
There's a small piece for anybody. who wants.
Thank you.
John's birthday
Thanks.
is celebrated loudly out there.
No, we're all set. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, so are we,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay. I don't want to fight about any,
So we'll just concur.
That's
You
it?
reported it,
No
so.
more? That's it?
Those were the 3 changes.
Oh, piece of cake.
Yeah, so I could really just do it off of the note you sent, that you emailed the letter, the memo you sent us this afternoon.
Yeah.
Just kind of briefly summarize.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
that's good. Okay,
Good, wow.
okay.